Good morning everybody, actually it's good afternoon. I have been awake a few minutes, well a couple of hours, 3 hours. It's just gone one. I've been awake about 3 hours. I've just been chilling out here, slowly packing everything up, watching Cellular, quite an old film now, but quite good actually, not bad. The only time Jason Statham plays the baddie, I think. I did a bit more video on my Garmin watch. I've just film going there. I've eaten obviously breakfast. I'm just going to make a tea. I've packed most things away. The other advantage of foam, of course, is that I can sit. Damn it, there's a few wasps around here. Yeah, the advantage of the foam mat is I can put the ground sheet away and still have something soft to sit on. I put that extra piece down there in case I want my feet to go on it, but to be honest, sitting here I've got enough head height, you know, just about. So that's why I like to pitch, you know, the front of the tarp, relatively speaking, as high as I can. The sides and the back don't really matter too much because, you know, your feet are just at the back. You're not really using the sides other for putting bits in. So the sides, like sides and back, they don't really matter too much as long as you've got enough room just to, you know, move things. Last year, as I mentioned, went in that area there. I put the mat down for her and she's still somehow managed to only be half on it. But she had come over to say hello. Lassie! And we'll just see if she comes back because she's been playing. She's found a bog. Lassie! Let's see whether... Lassie! 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 Come here! She's over in a bog. Way over there. It's the first time she's found this bog. Lassie, come here! She found this bog, you know, just earlier. And this is for those that like Lassie footage. Good girl. Look at the state of her. Alright, wait there, wait. Stay there. Oh. Sit. Lassie, sit. Good girl. I think my socks are clean. It's actually quite good. My socks are cleaner than Lassie is there. That's one boggy dog. Well, we're all but packed up here and ready to head in that direction. I'm not going to walk too far. Basically, I'm going to head to the other side of Great Neset, but Great Neset's that way. I'm not heading up that way. I'm going over this little hill here and then straight down into an area called Neset Nose, or that area where I've camped before. It's about 2.5 kilometers away. And then tomorrow I just got to get up the hill, Green Tor, Great Links, Brat Tor, and back to the car, kind of that way. But for today I'm just going to do a short easy walk, depending on the terrain, in that general direction over there. It's about what time is it? 2 o'clock. So it should only take an hour. but I might have to make a phone call or two on the way, so that might hold things up, but shouldn't be too long getting there, and then hopefully be able to relax and chill out there for a little bit. I'll try and watch a happier film tonight. I saw Cellular, which was good and happy and funny, and I saw Venom, which was good and happy and funny, but I saw We Were Soldiers, which wasn't. It was sort of good film, but sad. And then the first film I watched was The Last Samurai, which was also sad as well. But I haven't seen them for ages. They were on Netflix and you can download them. And they're good films, so I wanted to watch them even though they're sad. And of course Lassie is back over in her favourite watering hole over there. Anyway, I'm just going to finish this last little bit of packing. As you can see, there's very little to do now. Really, it's just the camera away, pegs, and then strap things to the outside of the pack, and that's it. Sometimes coming in a direct straight line isn't necessarily the easiest way to go, because we're faced with these constant massive, well, I won't say massive, but quite big, boggy, pitty areas, which is not really quite sure how well the camera shows it, but of course Lassie has found a bog. So of course we were on top of this little hill just there, and we're going in a direction of 350 degrees. Right, well, I checked the weather, excuse the slight angle, it's on my wrist still. Standing in the middle of nowhere, quite literally, here we are. We're still walking, and I was just thinking to myself, in my last camp it was a northerly wind, and I had this thing in my mind that tonight it was going to change to a westerly, southwesterly breeze, and the signal seems to have disappeared in this area. So I just checked on my watch, and it has a weather reading as of 2 o'clock, 15 degrees, minimum 6, feels like 18 bizarrely, obviously very little breeze, and a westerly wind. I guess that's 10 kilometers an hour, it could be, but depends how that's set up. And you can check the hourly weather on it. It doesn't give wind speed by the hour, unfortunately. It gives rain, very little to none, and it gives the temperature and the cloud cover. And obviously we don't know where it's got the weather from. It probably hasn't got the weather from here, it's probably got it from somewhere out there. But like I said, I do remember it saying a westerly to southwesterly breeze this evening, so we will just see how that goes. At the moment it's still northerly. Okay, well, we're still slogging our way through this stuff. It's quite heavy going, one has to say, but we're getting there. So I'm hoping there'll be no one down there, and if there's no one there, that's where camp is. If not, we'll just head forward and find somewhere else, but I doubt there'll be anyone down there. It's pretty quiet out here. You can just see Lassie in the long grass. Okay, well, I've been looking around for a place down here where to put the tarp, because the wind isn't quite doing what I was expecting it to do. It's supposed to be a westerly wind, which is this direction here, but it's actually still coming from the north. And the south is obviously, you know, back in that direction over there. Now, I'm a little bit of a loss as to exactly what to do, given that I got a tarp and there's no door on the front of it, but you can kind of only go with what you're given. And I was looking for an area and I found this spot here. It's not ideal, but I think it would be an okay place to put a tarp with some protection around it. There's no protection at the front, just this bit of grass here, which isn't going to give any protection at all, but there is protection around the sides, which means I can give a little bit more height. There is of course plenty of flat areas just up here, but it's a tarp and you kind of got to be a bit imaginative with a tarp. You don't really just want to be pitching a tarp just in a flat area. We kind of did that up the top and it's fine, you know, if you've got no other choice. But if you can find somewhere, you know, marginally imaginative, then, you know, it is worth it for a tarp, and it's no further to walk. Well, not much further, but the advantage over here, like I say, you've got this protection. There's not so many places for Lassie to sleep in there, but there is some there. If I put the bivvy in here, I had to move over a sheep mess, but to be honest, she'll just sleep up on this dry stuff up here most likely. It's mostly dry around here. I did check it is a dry area. Like I said, if the weather changes and comes from the south, which it might do, then I am screwed, as they say. But it would cover, that's north, so we'll cover north, northwest, west, and to a small degree southwest, which is actually what I was expecting the weather to do, which is why I haven't really rushed to pitch. And if it does switch around, well then, you know, I can lower one end and raise the other. As far as I'm aware, rain is not forecast, so that's where we'll pitch. I've looked around at various other places, but that looks a good place for, you know, just, you know, bedding down a tarp into. You wouldn't bother putting a tent there, or even the Trail Star or Super Mid. Those the Super Mid you'd pitch right in the middle with a nice big flat area. Okay, so that's where we're gonna pitch over there. Okay, well, I've not put the mat down of any description. I'm just straight on the bivvy itself, so I've still got the sleeping mat and pad to go down, but I've given myself headroom. Now, it's a tiny bit of a gamble, but hopefully not too much, and nothing that can't be changed. We've got quite a bit of a garden going on around in here. That's why I've kind of taken a little bit of a gamble with height, because we've got a bit of a garden at the back, which is giving hopefully wind and rain protection back there. We've got some more gardening going on all the way around here, and indeed where there are gaps there and back there, there's a bit of a garden going on there and here, which kind of balances out those gaps. I'm a little bit limited to where I can do cooking, but not exceptionally so. I'm a little bit limited to storage space because, you know, I've done my Alan Titchmarsh thing in here. Again, over this side I've got gardening going on here, right next to me indeed. I've got a little garden right next to where I'll be sleeping. So I think Jeff Hamilton also would be very pleased with the gardening that we've got going on here. But we are of course very much exposed to the south. So we kind of hope that the wind doesn't change, you know, we kind of hope the wind doesn't change direction. To be honest, even if the wind does, we just hope it doesn't rain. Alright, well I think it's time. It's 20 to 5. So I think it's time to get things, you know, tucked up inside. We might be able to eat outside for a little bit because it is quite warm today. And say coming up to 5 o'clock. So we've still got 2.5 hours of... Ooh, let's try and get up. At least I can stand up almost. So we have got over 2.5 hours of you know, daylight left. This is the view from the outside. I wanted to pitch here, one because, well, I know you can pitch here. Two, because I was feeling a bit too lazy to head all the way over to Lindstor or the other side of Lindstor. And three, because I know that from here, if I go in that direction, it takes me pretty much straight back to Bleak House. We'll do navigation another time. It's a steep hill. We might have to sort of go up it and around that way rather than just straight up. But it's certainly just about doable. It's the steepest part around here, but we can certainly get up and over it easily enough. And it's just like, to me, probably the quickest way back from here. And I kind of don't want to be too late getting going and getting back. Famous last words as I relax and I don't get going until lunchtime as usual. But at least, you know, this gives me a fighting chance that it's not too late going back. The only thing is, between here and Bleak House is probably quite rough going for a kilometre or so. Once you get to Bleak House, then it's an easy walk then to anyway, well, that one, and then and then down to Brattor, and then down to the car park. Right, so earlier on we were here at Little Niset, and then we walked in a direct line right the way across, down, right the way across here, down this hill here, and then we're camped around about in there where the water does a little bendy thing just there. We're camped just in there, and you can see, so we're going to go walk from there. So it's 2 kilometers to this point here, that little square there, and that's Bleak House. And when we were looking at places around us, it named Dunga Goat Tours, Green Tor. It mentioned Chat Tor over here. It mentioned Great Niset there. And obviously Little Links Tor down here it mentioned. So it mentioned quite a few places. It may even have mentioned Sharp Tor. I can't quite remember all the ones it mentioned now. But it mentioned quite a few. It mentioned Little Links Tor. It might be interesting when we get to, if I remember, when I get to Green Tor, to put in one of the other places and just see whether it picks up one of the other places and how it gets me to it. Whether it does it as just a direct straight line, or whether it realises that you can't necessarily go on a direct straight line. So this could be interesting. I might try that tomorrow. Okay, well, you just catch Lassie thinking about swimming over there. And I've been busy doing video here on this watch again. I think that's going to be a long video. I have to decide whether to break that down into several parts or one part. We'll kind of like see, probably end up doing one part. It's just, and then it's there for people just to look at it if they want to, rather than just we'll kind of see. But there's a lot to that watch, a hell of a lot. And it's just starting to cool off now, because the sun's just gone down behind this hill. So I'm probably not going to stay out much longer now. It's just a shame that hill's there. We've put that hill there because there's still like another hour of daylight to go. But it has, once that sun goes down, it starts to cool off quite rapidly. So we'll see. It's quite comfortable out here. I might just put my jumper on, maybe just try that and see how that goes. But I've had my tea out here on this whole trip. This is the first time I've actually settled down and sat down outside. So I've been putting charge into my phone. I'll put some more charge into the camera, and then this is just food. That's Lass's food there, my drink. I've been having some cheese and crackers there. And as mentioned, this is the living quarters. Look at the state of it in there. So it looks, I think it looks a lot worse than it really is. I think most of it is just bedding, to be honest. But that's sleeping quarters in there. It's still coming from the sort of the northwest, so if it does change, it's most likely going to be westerly or something like that. I don't think it's going to be southwest, which is what I was expecting, to be honest. But anyway, I didn't think to check the forecast today. The signal was, apart from just up there for a short while, the signal wasn't very good, and I didn't even think about looking at the forecast, to be honest. Well, good morning. This is just woken up. She's taken the sign of me saying good morning as the thing to wake up. She lay half in and half out the tarp last night. There was no wind. No wind at all last night. It was a very, very still and calm night. I slept quite well. Watched Meg last night, with Jason Stratham. And then I had I think following watching the Meg, I had a nightmare. It wasn't a scary nightmare as such, but I had a nightmare that there was a giant crocodile chasing a train. I'm not quite sure how shark and boats and sea translates to crocodiles and trains. Anyway, I had a strange sort of dream of a big crocodile chasing a train, and someone shouting to the train driver, "Get your head back!" I think he kept his head. So yeah, it was quite a strange dream. Quite a strange dream to get. Anyway, I've had breakfast. It's 10:20. I've had porridge, so I'm going to slowly start to pack up, I think, now, and then get going as and when I'm ready. It should be at least another hour and a half, I would imagine. Okay, well, it's 11:20. I'm just about to start to get going. I haven't put the tarp away yet. Good job we started to pack when we did, though, and although there's no rain in the air, the wind now is coming from the south, really from the south, maybe south-southwest. So of course now it's going to start blowing right into the tarp, a bit like it did that time last trip when I had to get going with the rain. Of course, when it's not raining, it doesn't it wouldn't have mattered. I could have hung around in camp, you know, a while longer with the wind blowing in. It wouldn't have mattered, you know, too much. It only really matters obviously when it's raining. So anyway, we've packed pretty much everything away. Time is 11:25. Using my GPS watch, I can head to a point of interest that I'd put in previously, or a previously stored location, the middle one. Green Tour, which comes just before, or Gunner Goats Tours, which comes just after. There's also Great Links. There's also Great Links Tour on there. So be sure to check out, you know, the video on the watch. I'll do a separate video on that watch. It's going to be a very lengthy video, unless I break it down into several parts. I haven't decided yet. I'll see. Probably going to take a few weeks as well, because I still haven't finished the last camp video yet, so we're probably going to be running a few weeks behind. I won't be doing another camp now, almost certainly until later into October, so I've got time to catch up. As you can see, it is nearly all done. You can see where I was sleeping in there. It worked very well, and as I say, there was no breeze at all until literally just the last 20 minutes, when I was literally coming out, packing the last few bits away. There's a little ford that I can cross literally just down here, so I'll cross that ford. There are some stones further up that I could cross and then come around, but it's so wet and boggy around here that frankly I may as well get wet feet at the very beginning, and then they're not going to get any wetter. And I'm still wearing my Innovates from a long time ago. I don't know what I'm going to do when these finally kick the bucket. I think I've got another spare pair, because I don't do so much walking these days. They'll last me quite a while now, but I still have not found another shoe that's as good as these. I've tried a couple of others that I think I'll wear for walking like this, and I just end up wearing them for general use at home and not out here. So I'm not quite sure. I'll have to just check out what Innovate have got, but they don't do this one anymore, which is a bit annoying. And the ones that they do, again, I've not worn out here, you know, quite so much. Anyway, enough of me chatting. God, you must be fed up with me chatting by now. I noticed the number of views has dropped off a little bit recently, probably because people are fed up with me talking all the time, but that's fine. As one of my subscribers, a friend on Facebook, said, it's just the diehards who are left, and that's fine. It's not really about views. Although some extra views would be nice, and some extra advertising money would be nice, of course, but I just do it for the fun of it, and if I can make a couple of quid out of it, then that's good. Okay, well, we've just reached the top of the hill. Camp was down in there somewhere, and I came straight up. That's quite a steep climb. I don't think I'd be going down that way. If I need to get down from here, I think I'd be going around that way and down to it somewhat. It's not much further over there to go around there and then down us, and not so steep bank, but this was very, very steep. That's the steepest I've had to climb for a long time. A bit hairy in a couple of places too. All the way around. We'll go relatively slowly. And then down here. You will notice new poles. I meant to have said about these poles. I was using those Compodale poles, and they were my favourite for tarp pitching, because you could raised the height on them to 145 centimeters, but unfortunately on the last trip I had to do a bit, let's just say a bit of an emergency maneuver, and they shifted in the boot and they were held together with held together, but the joints were like string or a little cord, and I guess obviously I've had them for several years as well, and I'm thinking the cord, because it happened to both of them, so it wasn't just that one failed at some point or other like that. I think my emergency maneuver in the last trip must have caught something in the boot and broke the cord. So I would have got another pair of Compodal, but I needed a pair, pretty much emergency. So I found these black diamonds, which I have to say seem very good, seem equal, as far as I can tell. They were about 5 grams lighter, interestingly. The only downside is they go up to 140 centimeters, not 145. But 5 centimeters is neither here nor there, really. It's only when you start getting to about 6 inches that things start to really matter. But 5 centimeters is immaterial. So that's why I've got these poles here. I managed with the Compodal last time walking, but the ends kept popping off every now and again in a bog or something like that, which got not too, it just got a bit inconvenient and a bit annoying. But I have to say, if I'd have been coming up here and a bit had come off, that could have been quite interesting. Okay, well, as you can see, we're near the top of this hill here now, so I'm going to carry on walking. See, the direction of the direction arrow is pointing back down to the direction I've just walked. Interestingly, I've walked 1 kilometre already. Okay, and there's a trail which it wants me to take, but I will probably just ignore that trail and probably go straight to Green Tor, and then we'll kind of just sort of see how it goes from there. I don't see the point of going all the way around. Here you can kind of cut corners off in places, so I'll probably end up doing that. Although sometimes the path is actually better than going cross country, but I do know that there is a track that goes around, but you can't really get to Green Tor from it. Well, you can, but you've got to go all the way around to Bleak House and then back up to it. It just seems a bit pointless, really. So I think on this instance I'm just going to go straight across and cut that corner off. Okay, well, the watch has me going in that direction, around that way and that way, but we're going to go straight across here. You can see a Green Tor is this one down here, not the two on the hill. That's Gunner Goats Tor and that's Great Links Tor on the horizon. So Green Tor is this one just over here. So in this instance, and this grass isn't so bad, I definitely think going straight across is the best thing to do. Also, because I came up that super steep slope at a slight angle going in that direction, I will say in this instance my compass bearing is off a little. It's sort of pointing more towards the right Gunner Goats Tor rather than Green Tor, but it's still fairly close, and if you got pretty close you might, even in the mist, you might be able to see it. But it wouldn't matter if you did miss it, because you effectively just keep going anyway and you'd end up down, not literally in the river, but down in the stream, and then you'd be able to find where you were going then. I was just using Green Tor as a waypoint, really. That's not, it's like a throwaway waypoint. I'll aim for it because there's a path there that goes down to Bleak House, so, and then everything is pretty much pathed all the way. So I'm going to ignore the track on the watch for this section, and then I'll do a search and see what it picks up you know, from there, see if it picks up Raptor or something like that. It'll be interesting to see what it picks up and how it wants us to proceed to that point. Okay, well that's the end of this walk. Raptor right behind me. A few people climbing on it. So, you know, we've had a very, very nice, enjoyable few days. I think there's going to be a lot of video to come out of this. It's going to take a while to edit, I think. So I will catch you again later in October at some point or other. You know, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit the notification button, and of course I will see you in the not too distant future. Anyway, thanks for watching. God rest everybody. Thank you.